And the example I'll be using today is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. So if you were to divide 1 by 3, it will be 0 point, because it's a decimal. So 0 point, and instead of writing 0.333333, you'd write 0.3 recurring. So let's try to imagine what a half looks like. I like to think of pizzas because I love pizzas. So if I was out with one friend, so there was two of us, myself and my friend, and we had to share the pizza in two, which means I would have to eat a half. I would eat half a pizza. So let's shade that in. So that's how much pizza I would get. If there was three of us, so you could join us, myself and my friend, and we would have to share one pizza into 3 pieces. We would then split it and try to make it as equal as possible. So let's say I would eat this slice. We would have this half moon, and we would have a third. So if we were to add them together, a half and a third, we know that it's going to be less than 1, a whole number, less than a whole pizza, but it will be more than a half. So if our answer is less than a half, we know that we've done something wrong. And if it is more than a whole number, more than 1, we know also that we've done something wrong. So let's have a go at working it out.
The reason why this question can be a little bit tricky for people is because the denominator, remember that the numerator is at the top and denominator at the bottom, the denominators are not the same. Therefore, when adding or subtracting fractions, it can make it a little bit tricky. What we have to do before we add them is we have to make the denominator the same. So for instance, if the question was 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5, we would simply add 2 and 1, that will give us 3, and we'll keep the denominator the same, 5. But in this case, we cannot keep it the same. How do we make the denominator a common denominator?
So the easiest way to find the lowest common denominator is to take this denominator and multiply it by this digit, and take this denominator and multiply it by this digit. So if we want to make these the same, we have 1 over 2, take this one, times 3. And remember, the numerator is very selfish, so whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So I'll multiply by 3. And then add, we've got 1 over 3, and we want to take this denominator, multiply by this digit. So we have 2, remember, numerator is selfish.
2, so we get 3 over, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 over 6. Now that the denominators are common, they're exactly the same, you can almost ignore it, and it will be, what I mean by ignoring it, is you make it into 1, and 3 plus 2 equals, let's make equal sign, 5 over 6. So a half plus a third equals 5 over 6. Let's find out if the answer is correct.
Previously, we said that the answer has to be less than a whole number, less than 1. It is because the numerator is less than the denominator, which means it's less than 1. And we also said that it has to be more than a half. Now let's try to visualize it. So we talked about pizzas.
So let's draw out a giant pizza. This time, there's 6 of us who have to share the pizza. So let's try to divide it into 6 equal parts. So roughly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect, okay. So if I was to then consume 5 of these pieces, so if we take, shade it in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm left with a 6th. And this looks about right, because remember, we said we had a half and a third. So that would leave us 1/6.
So it looks about right. Therefore, a half plus a third equals 5 over 6. Thank you very much.